How to identify the altcoins that will make us the most money over the next few weeks and months ahead. Can you see it yet? The altcoins are bouncing strongly, but not all of them. Only some altcoins are massively outperforming the wider crypto market, and in my opinion, it's obvious why. If you can understand why they're doing it, then you too can identify the other altcoins that will likely see big upside very soon. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what's going on behind the scenes, and why right now the altcoins are beginning to smell liquidity entering back into the system. The others versus Bitcoin chart is showing it, and it's an incredibly exciting time to be in the markets right now. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Let's get into today's video. Now guys, before we dive in and find out exactly why some altcoins like Fetch, Aero, and others have been doing 50-60% gains in just the last 7 days or so, and which altcoins will likely see the biggest gains next, just a quick disclaimer. Nothing I say in this video is financial advice. Everything I say is for entertainment purposes only. If you wish to invest in crypto, you should understand that it's risky and you can lose money, so don't risk money that you can't afford to lose, and always do your own research before investing in anything. Now that we got that out of the way, let's crack on with it. Now guys, if we jump across to crypto bubbles, you can see in the last 7 days or so, altcoins have awoken. And if you watched my previous 2 videos, you will understand why these altcoins are now starting to look pretty good. And it's not just because Bitcoin's going up. You see, Bitcoin and the altcoins are very sensitive to one thing: liquidity. Liquidity is a very important aspect to this market. And the problem we've had since this bull market began all the way back at the end of 2022 is restrictions to our liquidity. This has meant that Bitcoin's managed to rally, yes, but altcoins have found it pretty troublesome. Unlike in the last bull market and the last bull market before that, where interest rates were basically at 0, we've had interest rates at like 4 or 5% pretty much throughout. Now, despite this, we have had some liquidity coming out of the reverse repo market, and other countries around the world like China and also into the Eurozone, the UK, etc. have been easing and printing more money. This has ultimately resulted in crypto markets still seeing some good upside. But ultimately, every time we've had anything that's given us an expansion phase in terms of liquidity, we have up phases for Bitcoin and alts. We then go into constriction phases, followed by expansion, constriction, expansion, constriction, and then now we're about to see expansion once more. And the altcoins are already starting to smell it. If you've watched my last 2 videos, then you'll know why we're about to see expansion again. And if you didn't see those, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, because this move that we're seeing right now won't come as any surprise to you. You're also going to understand for yourself how to work your way around this crypto market. I'm not just going to tell you coins and things like that. I'm going to teach you how to actually make money, because only 5% of people make money in crypto. Is kind of difficult. So make sure that you are learning and teaching yourself. You've got an incredible opportunity in front of you right now to make some life-changing money if you do things right. Now, something has happened this week that's causing the markets to go up. The end of the US government shutdown. You see, US government shutdown basically constricted a lot of flow of liquidity into the system. On top of that, we've had high interest rates, but into December, we're going to start to see quantitative easing coming in. Now, I know the Federal Reserve has basically said that we're not sure about it. That's just keeping you kind of like calm, okay? All the fundamentals, all of the data behind why the Federal Reserve would cut have all stacked up. The Federal Reserve is basically going to cut rates and introduce quantitative easing in December. The repo market is at 0. There is no other way to quietly, silently add liquidity to the market. If they can't do this, the economy will probably fail. Now, on top of that, you've had US government shutdown, constricting funds. That's about to come to an end, probably in the next 24 to 48 hours. When that happens, a lot of job data information will be released to the Fed. Fed can make its statements around quantitative easing, etc. And this means other governments around the world will also be able to consider doing things like easing. This is like the everything code that Raoul Pal and everyone else has been talking about. This is the liquidity flows that we need. Every time over the past few years, we've had a bull market, it's been in positive liquidity. This is caused by constriction, okay, tightening. This is caused by quantitative easing. This is caused by tightening, okay? It's not to do with the halving. The halving is BS. It just coincides with quantitative easing and tightening. This time, however, we have had a long period of quantitative tightening, despite the fact that Bitcoin's been going up. But now we're about to see easing, and we're already in this kind of crazy high, exciting kind of bubble time, okay? So we're going to see easing. That's going to blow things up even bigger than you could probably even imagine right now. Now then, jumping back to crypto bubbles. It's cool to see a lot of cryptos going up over the past week or so. But you're probably thinking to yourself, well, that's kind of annoying because I hold like Say and I hold IOTA and Quant and I don't know, whatever else. But Airdrop is up 48% and StartConnect, which I've never heard of before, is up 50% and Fetch AI 67%. How do I find these coins before they start rallying and why do I seem to be holding duds? Well, You're not necessarily holding duds, by the way, okay? Altcoins go up for a few different reasons, and we need to understand why they go up and down, right? Because if we can understand that, then it's going to be much clearer to us. If you're thinking, well, they only go up on good news, that's BS. Okay, good news doesn't really do anything. Good news is used in coordination with market makers. Market makers, who have a bit of a bad rep, are there to ensure that if you want to sell a token, there is an order available for you to sell it into, and if you want to buy a token, someone there willing to sell it to you. So they enable fluid, good, liquid trading, okay? Every coin uses market makers. If they don't, they basically won't be on this sheet, okay? Every coin in the top 1,000, I would imagine, is using market makers. Now, market makers can make coins go up and down based on how much money projects have got. Like if a project's got tons of money right now and they want to push a lot of money towards their market makers to buy up any sell pressure, the price of the token goes up very fast, okay? As soon as it starts going up fast, what happens? You and everybody else who's paying attention to this and just buying and aping into big green bubbles will go and buy it, and that will help it push up further. If you put some nice news on top of it to kind of cover what's going on behind the scenes, that can also help, but really that's what's going on. Now, that's one reason the coins go up and down. Another one might be narrative. So over the last few weeks, we've seen like Zcash and privacy coins doing really well. So people then went looking for other privacy coins. Sometimes that can help. Like when you have meme season, meme coins pump that have got dogs on them, other dog meme coins might pump. But ultimately, it's kind of market making and whatever else. That's good if you can find projects that you know have got lots of money in the bank, because if they've got lots of money in the bank, eventually when the market's greedy enough, they will push their money into the market makers, etc., and they will drive prices up. So no matter how bad the chart might look for some of the coins that you're holding, if you are focused towards high utility projects that you know have got good money locked in the bank, like I keep banging on about Aether, if you look at their dashboard, they're raking in around 150 mil per year, and now probably even more that they've signed that recent DAT deal. They've got like $300 million flowing in through their DAT deal from a Nasdaq listed company. Then you know that despite the fact the chart has been looking a bit weak recently, it's probably going to be absolutely flying. And a lot of others out there like WorldCoin and whatever, tons of money in the bank, they're going to do really, really well during the next period. But Airdrop, Uniswap, and a couple of others on here are going up probably for another reason. And if you go to DeFiLlama.com, I'm going to show you that reason. And by understanding this, it's going to become very clear about what else is going on here. And by the way, if the charts are looking really weak for some of the coins that you've been looking into, and actually the data is looking really, really strong, then you just might be onto a massive winner that nobody else is paying attention to. Because remember, nobody else is paying attention when the coins are looking weak and people are like, oh, it's a scam or whatever else. Usually those people have no idea what they're talking about. They tend to just like follow coins that are going up. That's why they always end up getting burned when the markets go down. Bitcoin is actually having a little push right now, $105,000. Altcoins are starting to look good as well. Nice. Sorry, don't get distracted. Right, DeFi Llama is very cool because it shows you a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, a lot of the data. If you're just paying attention to charts, you miss everything. Data is key, okay? And if you're thinking that this sounds like a lot of work and I'm not really interested, guys, I don't know how much money you make, but let's say you're working 40 hours per month, which is pretty much what most people would work if they're working normal jobs. And you're like, well, I earn the national average wage in the UK, which is like £2,000 a month or £2,500 a month. I don't know. And you're probably going to get taxed like 30% on that. And in America, it's probably a little bit higher, but again, same story. And you're going to get taxed. And then you're saying to yourself, well, I also just want to sit and make, 50 grand from crypto, which is more than you might make in a year from your day job. If you're genuinely thinking that, and you're thinking that you can do this in like half an hour, why do you work 160 hours a month to make 2.5 grand and then try and think that you can make 50 to 100 grand in like 10 minutes and not really pay attention? Guys, just invest a little bit more time into crypto and understanding it, and you're probably going to be a lot happier by the end of it. All right, just a little bit of life advice there. Now, okay, let me get on with it. DeFiLlama.com. If you go here, you can see all the different chains. Ethereum, you can see here the total value locked on chain, the amount of money staked and held in different ecosystems built on Ethereum. You can see the stablecoin flows, $162 billion back on the 30th of October. This is very noticeable. It's now up 167, so it's increased by $5 billion per day. This is trending up. This is showing you that there's a lot of health in the market still, despite what you're hearing across Twitter from little Timmy and his buddies, okay? Things are still pretty good. These are all the projects built on Ethereum. You can see the flows on the volumes. You can see the fees paid on different ecosystems and the DEX volumes and other bits and pieces. But what we're going to do here, and then you can go to Solana. You can see which like ecosystems are doing really well. This is Base. Looks very, very strong right now. I use this, if you were subscribed to my channel back in September last year, to find Sui was a good entry because the TBL on the 4th of August was around 480 mil, and it went up very, very quickly before the price went up. This allowed me to identify that Sui is probably a good investment. I sold all my Solana, bought Sui at $1. Sui went to like $5, $6 by Christmas. It was a good trade, okay? Obviously, took some profits, but didn't take enough profits probably back in December, like many of us didn't. Now, if you click on all here, you can see the overall market and the market health. Fees paid, very key to pay attention to. If a project is making money, it has money to spend on pushing the price up when everybody goes to greed again. Remember, right now, everyone's in disbelief. So many people are like, oh, the bull market's over, but yet they still watch YouTube videos about crypto, which is pretty sad. Why would you watch YouTube videos about crypto if you think the bull market's over? Come back in 3 years, okay? If you think the bull market's still on, hopefully, that's why you're here. Then you'll understand this. When people get greedy again, you might not be willing to ape into crypto, but you will be when Bitcoin hits 130K. When people get greedy again, they go and buy stuff. And if projects have already got the money in the bank to push their charts, they're going to be running strongly. If you pay attention to fees paid, it's going to be very clear. Hyperliquid, $3.7 million in the last 24 hours. And this is not like big companies, okay? They are big companies by market cap, but they're not really that big by employees. Like Binance is the biggest exchange in the world. It's like 500 employees maybe. Aether, very big team and deep in, it's like 150 people. Some of these other exchanges might be like 4 blokes in a basement somewhere with $1 billion market cap coin, and they don't really have any overheads, okay? Or that many overheads, and yet they're banking $3 million a day. Jupiter, 3.6 mil. Uniswap, 3 million a day. Pump Fund, 2.8. Aave, 2.5. Lido, Meteora, 2 mil. Okay, remember these names: Hyperliquid, Meteora, etc. Now let's go across to crypto bubbles. And you'll see some things going on here. You can see Uniswap up here. You can see Airdrop Finance. And you can see a few others in here. Okay, these coins have been seeing lots of growth. Now, if you go across to Aerodrome and have a look at what it looks like on a chart, you'll see that actually, despite having kind of a bit of chop during this recent time, which actually hasn't been that bad for market conditions, it may have felt pretty bad, you can see the Aerodrome has actually been pretty strong and held pretty well here. Okay, now you can see as well, if you go to others like Uniswap as well bounced very strongly. In fact, Uniswap is up nearly 80% from just the other day, 82%. Okay, went up over 100% from there. Hyperliquid barely even went down. Okay, Hyperliquid's been chopping around, but since April, Hyperliquid is one of the top performing coins in the entire ecosystem. Why? It's been making money. It's not a surprise, right? Companies that are making money have strong tokens. Companies that are using their money to buy back the token, like Hyperliquid, are doing particularly well. Now, there are other projects, I mentioned Aether earlier, that will buy back its token, but they don't bother buying back right now. Why? Because it's not a greedy enough market. As soon as the market flips greedy, guess what? Aether will start doing this. It will start doing this, okay? As soon as the market flips bearish, it does this. Okay, but we know eventually we're going to run into a time where we have positive liquidity flows. When that happens, everything comes together. Projects that have been banking tons of money will start to rally very, very strongly. So charts that people are like, oh, that doesn't look good. If you can understand behind the scenes that these projects are actually building sustainable, useful products, Aether makes the GPU compute power for AI. AI is the new global industry. It doesn't run on oil like previous industries have done, like mechanized industry did. It runs on 2 things, compute power and data. Now it should make sense to you as to why I'm launching my project, Perceptron, that is a decentralized data provider. If you want to find out more about that, give us a follow over on Twitter. Perceptron will be launching in the coming weeks ahead. And guys, the market is starting to look very good. If we hit over 110, I will probably announce TGE probably in the next couple of weeks. Things are going to get very exciting for Perceptron. Again, we've already been generating revenue generating products in $1 billion industry where we can cut down the current costs of data by 92%. No brainer. Okay, lots of exciting stuff going on with Aether, ways in which you can earn and participate over there. Now, DeFi Llama is a way to find lots of these different ones, okay, ones that have been doing well. Now, you can go to individual ecosystems. So, for example, if Base, you can see is very strong here, Aerodrome being the DEX on Base. Now, if Coinbase continues to grow, which obviously it's going to do during a bull market, massive money, etc., then a lot of the ecosystems in and around Base will do well. And the coins being traded on Base will also do well. And the DEXs for Base, like Aerodrome, will be very strong. You can see DEX volumes are all pretty good. They're being run through Aerodrome. Virtuous Protocol, you can see here, Aave, and others down the list. Okay, this is quite cool. If you go down below, you can start to see some projects that are gaining momentum. So if you want to go and find ecosystems that are strong, then you can go and find projects on those ecosystems that might be doing well. You can see Aptos slowly starting to bottom out here. Okay, Aptos is bottoming out. If Aptos starts to tick up here, things are going to be good. If you look at the stablecoin flows, suddenly starting to inject more in stablecoin flows. Obviously much smaller than some of the fees and things just being paid over on Ethereum and others. But if you're identifying some of the trends here, like you suddenly see an uptick in Aptos and Aptos suddenly looks really interesting, then go down below and look for projects on Aptos that are contributing to that, because they're going to bring you potentially some good returns in the short term. And also, if you then notice that the projects and stuff that you're holding, you're like, why is the price stalling out? Go and look behind the scenes. Find out the data that is supporting that. Now, it's not just Aether that's been doing well in terms of revenue. Other projects I've talked about over the past few months, even smaller caps like My Lovely Planet, which is like a Candy Crush-like game, which I actually play quite often. Guys, by the way, if you sign up for this, down through the link below, My Lovely Planet, you'll get some extra diamonds. And the people with the most diamonds who've been playing this game, which is like Candy Crush, in the next month or so, will be able to win part of $1 million airdrop. This is a game that I genuinely play every day. It's actually like a fun game. They themselves have been making over $2,000 of revenue every single day for people making in-app purchases. It's a free game. This is from the creators of Candy Crush, the developers behind Candy Crush. And on top of that, this game, you like get to plant trees and stuff when you do well. So just download the game and you could potentially win an airdrop. Use my link down below if you want to get some bonus crystal things. The people with the most crystals will win the airdrop. And ultimately, because they've been making $2,000 a day in terms of revenue, they've onboarded one of the biggest, most famous footballers in Turkey to be one of their kind of key members. And they did it in Turkey because Turkey has a very big interest in crypto and crypto gaming. And they obviously have other plans to bring in other celebs. I think that this probably does quite well and is currently sat in this range where it obviously bounces out of every time. And because it's small cap, eventually, whenever the market warms up enough, it tends to rally really strongly. It does 620% before in like a week, okay? I believe My Lovely Planet probably sees more growth again into the future, but do your own research on this, go and understand a little bit more. Just download the game and play it, and you might be like, wow, this is quite cool, okay? And then you can win some rewards, whatever. Rollbit, another interesting one. Rollbit has kind of gone under the radar. In fact, the revenue on Rollbit's pretty crazy. And I do anticipate that at some point, Rollbit will start to push more money towards its kind of token and could well see a kind of a blow off top bull market. Ultimately, if you are the founders of this project and you hold a lot of money in tokens, your best way of making the most money possible is driving your coin as high as you possibly can during a bull market, and then obviously starting to try and like sell some tokens quietly behind the scenes without having too much impact on price. There's a reason like the founders of Sui and Solana and Ethereum are like richer than anyone else. Although Vitalik obviously not that flashy, despite being like one of the richest bros in crypto. Now DeFi Llama won't tell you like all of the details of everything, but it will explain to you in very simple terms why, for example, Sui has a much bigger market cap than, let's say, Casper. People are always like, oh, Casper should be the next blockchain. It's way better than Solana. It's like, go and look at who's using it and go and look at the volumes on chain, and it will start to become clear as to why value is locked in certain projects over others. Now, if you go to Token Terminal, you can see other things around cash flows. You can see other technical details. So projects that are not shown on DeFi Llama, like ICP, for example, might become clearer. You can see other protocols, stablecoin, lending, DEXs. If you really want to go down the rabbit holes, you can start to identify stuff. But really pay attention on Twitter to what like Aether and Peak Network and Grass and whatever are doing, and when they're talking about their deals and their revenue and all these other things, it's very key, okay? Successful businesses making money can push their prices higher. And it's a beautiful time right now because lots of projects look terrible on the charts, but they're actually very fundamentally strong behind the scenes. Go and have a look into it. Now guys, tomorrow I am actually running a Zoom call for people who want to go and join it, a private Zoom call to teach you exactly how I've set up trading bots so that when the market's trending sideways, going up and down, whatever, we're still locking in gains, because ultimately we built bots that have trading ranges. Every time it dips down into the range, it's taking small buys. Every time it comes back up, it's taking small sells. This is completely limiting my risk because I'm able to take some money off the table. It's also completely doing away with any emotion attached with trading. I have these running in the background. They've been running since the market's been flat and boring, and they've still been making, in some cases, thousands thousands of dollars over the past few weeks. I'm going to teach you exactly how to set these bots up for absolutely free. And as well, if you want to just copy my bots for absolutely free as well, you can with just a few clicks of a button. All you got to do is join the Telegram linked down below. You'll be able to join that Zoom call. If that Zoom call is in the middle of the night for you or whatever, don't worry, I'll also upload a recording and you too can start copying trading bots, etc. Guys, I will continue to build on this kind of research as this bull market progresses. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss future videos. Let me know down below what kind of other videos and things you'd like me to make. Hope that was useful. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.